who is a school board member. Then next is Ken Dixon, who is a board member. Bill O'Lyon, Deputy Superintendent, and Pat Kelly, Superintendent. Thank you, distinguished guests, for attending. At this time, I ask you to remove any caps or hoods and to please stand for the national anthem and the presentation of colors, as they're performed by the Vista Murrieta High School Chamber Choir and Air Force JROTC.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free, and the home of
That was a beautiful performance. Thank you, choir and color guard. Now, please welcome our principal, Mr. Wager, for his comments this morning.
Welcome, students, staff, and guests. We are here to remember the tragedy that occurred on September 11th, 2001, and honor those who have perished on this day and the days following the attack. I want to thank our Air Force JROTC cadets and instructors for organizing this event for us. I also want to welcome our dignitaries who have joined us this morning. Also, thank you to our other distinguished guests from around the community and to our teachers and students for attending this event on this beautiful morning. I especially want to thank the men and women who keep us safe at home, our first responders, fire, police, EMTs, and all the men and women who have worked and are still working to secure our freedom around the world. Each branch of the military is represented here this morning, and we have many veteran parents, veteran staff, and veteran community members who are here as well. We thank you very much for your service. It is fitting we have all gathered together on this special day, which has been deemed nationwide as Patriot Day. The events that occurred on September 11th, 2001 happened 18 years ago under blue skies and warm temperature, and I don't believe any of you students had even been born on the day by the date of this tragic day. For you, it literally occurred a lifetime ago. However, if you talk to just about any older brother, sister, or family member, they will remember exactly where they were and exactly what they were doing when they first heard about the attacks on 9/11. That is because even as it was happening, all of us knew this was a historically tragic day. We knew immediately this was a moment in time that should never be forgotten. As a way to keep remembering this day as a momentous day and to ensure that you as a generation also never forget what happened on 9/11, talk to your parents about where they were and what they were doing on the morning of September 11th, 2001. Listen to their story, and most importantly, ask them what they felt. Never had there been such an attack on American soil. Nearly 3,000 citizens, police, and other first responders died on that day. 6,000 more were injured. And these were not soldiers in battle, but mostly everyday people going about their day, working in their offices, on their way to work, or flying out on business or visiting relatives. Others were heroes, men and women rushing into burning and smoke-filled buildings while most everyone else was rushing out. These heroes were men and women who sacrificed their own lives to save the lives of others. Their lives and the lives of their families were permanently and terribly altered on that day. Though these attacks shook our country to its core, our resolve was then and still is now strong. The terrorists intended to break us down and make us more fearful, but the opposite was the case. Through this tragedy, we became more unified, more resolute, and more unyielding to the belief that the ideals on which America was built and freedom itself was a fight we would stand up for. We vowed as a nation to not let this attack change our way of life or cause us to live in fear. The reality is, though we do remain strong and proud as Americans, this was an event that transformed our view of the world and our place in it. Students, it's important, even though you do not have direct recollection of 9/11, and that you only know a world post 9/11, that you remember this tragic event, learn from this event, and always keep a special place of honor for those patriots who have passed for the sake of our liberty. Aside from the initial shock of the events on that morning, the thing I remember most is the outpouring of spontaneous patriotism that took place soon after. The next day, kids went to school dressed in red, white, and blue. Cars and trucks flew American flags, and we all felt more bonded than ever before as one America. Keep in mind, this was before social media, so all this coming together happened because we all felt the same thing. We all felt the ideals of what it means to be American and what patriotism really feels like. Our freedom, our way of life, was something to be protected and something worth standing up for. Thank you.
Thank you for your words, Mr. Wager. The Vista Murrieta High School Criminal Justice Club will now present poems about the significant day.
To all of our fallen heroes who remember on a day of tragedy, along with citizens who lost their family, a strike through one tower and thousands are gone. 17 minutes later, little did we know that there would be a second strike through the other tower. Minutes later, hundreds of people holding hands with strangers as they make their way out of the dust just before the towers fall behind them. Strangers no more, as they are now brothers and sisters, survivors, firefighters, police officers, and people on the street helping each other to safety. Some people made it, unfortunately many did not. We remember their lives, their heroic actions, and their unwavering courage, which will never be hidden. To all the people struggling from losing family and loved ones that day, you will be happy and blessed. We pray. For all the first responders, we thank you so much. You will never be forgotten. Our country has overcome this devastation. My hope is that we never forget this day and the sacrifices made as we continue to rebuild our great nation.
Hi everyone, thank you for being here. I'm Kendall Johnson. This is my 9/11 poem. The towers fell just like my tears, innocent lives taken, the worst of fears. Ash starts to flicker in the dim light. My heart falls deep, my chest feels tight. The city that never sleeps seems to stand still. So many lives lost, so many voids to fill. Acts of courage and kindness too. How are we going to make it through? Our country is wounded, our souls are breaking. My eyes are stinging, my hands are shaking. The sound of screams, the sight of clothes tattered, hearts that are nothing but aching and shattered. There are no words to explain, no words that can ease my pain. Family was lost, and so many friends, so just wake me up when September ends.
Hello, I'm Mariel Bansing, and this is my 9/11 poem. From corrupted minds to hearts so kind, from the beloved we lost and wounded pride, a story of sorrow and love as a guide. As plumes of smoke rose to the sky, our stomachs churned, tears welled up in our eyes. As some ran for safety, brow dripping with fear, true heroes ran in, their purpose was clear. Rushing in to save our loved ones, they continued their task, their jobs never done. Through dusk so thick, it was black as night, it clouded our vision, extinguished the light. To those of us who hid from danger, the one who would hold hands with a total stranger, you gave us back our sense of community, restored our hope, a symbol of unity. Beyond the ash that fell that day, and once clean streets where rubble now lay, beacons of light where towers had fell, of the heroes who died, it's their story we tell.
My name is Spencer Berkeley, and I'm going to share some of my thoughts on 9/11. There they stood, pillars of the West. In such short time, they would be violently put to rest. Mothers would weep, brothers would cry. For the loved ones in the World Trade Center, it wasn't their time to die. On a clear blue morning, they stood there, sentinels resigned. People glanced overhead as jet turbines whined. For those who were lucky, death was swift and painless. For others on the brink of incineration, they chose a death airborne and flameless. As the gray smoky haze hung over the sky, as life left windows, memories would fly. Overhead, a second near deafening roar, it became clear this was an accident no more. As the upper floors billowed helplessly torched, mothers, fathers, sons, and daughters crowded heaven's porch. As all of America looked on in horror, the towers came down with violent fervor. Firefighters watched 343 brothers perish. Small children lived on their parents' last wish. While America stumbled, struck on her eastern side, a nation united in awe-inspiring display of national pride. Thank you.
Those poems were very compelling and powerful. Let's please give another thank you to our Criminal Justice Club. Now please give your attention to the Vista Murrieta High School Wind Ensemble and cadets Jarrell Palonde, Adrian Brosas, Kayla Aguilar, Edwin Gonzalez, Sofia Bolero, and Raymond Franco as they fold the American flag while Cadet Commander Brianna Alvarez explains the 13 folds.
With the band kind of supporting right behind it.
50 stars represent our 50 United States of America. Fold 3. I know not what course others may take, but as for me, give me liberty or give me death. Patrick Henry. Fold 4. These are the times that try men's souls. The summer soldier and the sunshine patriot will, in this crisis, shrink from the service of their country, but he that stands it now deserves the love and thanks of man and woman. Thomas Paine. Fold 5. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. They are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights. Among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Declaration of Independence. Fold 6. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution of the United States of America. Preamble of the United States Constitution. Fold 7. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech, or of the press, or the right of the people peaceably to assemble, and to the petition the government for a redress of grievances. First Amendment. Fold 8. The basis of our political system is the right of the people to make and to alter their constitutions of government. George Washington. Fold 9. My God, how little do my countrymen know what precious blessings they are in possession of, and which no other people on earth enjoy. Thomas Jefferson. Fold 10. 407 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. Abraham Lincoln. Fold 11. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free, the wretched refuse of your teeming shore. Send these, the homeless, tempest-tossed to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door. Emma Lazarus, inscription on the Statue of Liberty. Fold 12. Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. John Fitzgerald Kennedy. Fold 13. I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. Martin Luther King, Jr.
Thank you, flag folding team. and band for that moving performance. Now please, give a warm welcome to our special guest speaker, Mr. Fitzpatrick.
Two days after 9/11, as I watched brave young men and women search for survivors, I wrote this response to those who thought they could terrorize American citizens. The heart and soul of America. You can attack America. You can kill men, women, and children. But you can never stop the beating of the American heart. You cannot snap the resiliency of the American people. You cannot stain the virtue of the American soul. And no matter what evil you move in with, you cannot possess the American spirit. Did you think you could crush the American people by attacking a symbol of capitalism? America is not a building. It is not an economy. You can destroy these things, but you don't destroy America. America is people, not a people of one ethnicity, nor one religion, nor one political party, but a collection of the people of the world. It is a nation of people who so value life that they would sacrifice their own lives for the love of life and mankind. The antithesis of those who would throw away their own lives out of hatred and for the destruction of life. Despite inner struggles with the issue, deep down, Americans value the sanctity of life. America is a nation of the world. She dances to the tunes of many traditions, and with a skin colored by the melding of every race on earth, she sees through the eyes formed by expansively different views. With her ears, she hears the cries of the world and responds with a compassion nursed and grown from diverse religions. America is a nation that values life, and every day Americans risk their lives to save others or preserve the lives of their fellow Americans. Whether it is a small child who falls in a well, causing hundreds to stop their usual business and come together to help, or be it someone trapped in a burning building whom heroes will risk their own lives to save, tragedy brings out the best in the American people. At any time of great tragedy, Americans will come together to help. Even now, we see our countrymen lining up for hours to give blood or rushing to donate resources to help those in need. Many people have sacrificed much to immigrate to the United States of America. A country so despised for wealth was begun by people who gave up everything and their ways of life in the great cities to come to a new, uncertain land. Pioneers ventured forth with what they could carry on their person to expand the frontiers of that young nation. Immigrants sacrificed much or gave up everything to come to this land. America is no stranger to sacrifice and struggle. We have had to struggle with hatred from within. We nonetheless grow in the awareness of our differences. We have seen the stock market crash before. We struggled through the hard times. We have shown that we are resilient, that we are adaptable, that we can suffer and struggle, but that the American heart will continue to beat red, white, and blue. Americans will persevere. They will stand tall. They may be covered in ash, and they will mourn, but they will not be defeated. Would you hope to destroy America, the American spirit, by attacking her symbols, or send the American public into chaos by killing its government officials? Then your ignorance is only limited by your lack of vision. A great lady stands high on Ellis Island, facing not toward America, but facing out to the world, offering hope to those suffering from oppression. Would you hope to extinguish the flames of liberty by taking out the Statue of Liberty? Even as a nation under siege, if that were even possible, individual Americans would begin to ignite the sparks of liberty with the broken sticks on the ground. You may completely erase the line of succession to the presidency, but with a strong Constitution and democratic elections, we will draw a new line. Would you hope to blacken our amber waves of grain by igniting the wheat fields of the plains? We would green the very deserts with our resourcefulness. Would you try to efface the beauty of our coasts, or tumble the majestic snow-capped Rockies, or even try to stop the flow of the mighty Mississippi? How many symbols of America would you vandalize before you realize that the spirit of America lies not in her symbols, but in the hearts of every American citizen? Whether beating in the energy of New York, or warming with the hospitality of the South, or slowing its beat in the relaxing West, the heart of America will continue to beat. We will stop and take time to mourn. We will pause in prayer. We will take time out from our major celebrations and diversions, but we will resume our lives. Children are going to school. Citizens are going to work. Life continues on. By the dawn's early light, we, a nation of many peoples, blessed by God, indivisible, offering liberty and justice for all, see the broad stripes and bright stars streaming atop the rubble as hundreds of gallant Americans continue to search for life. And the star-spangled banner will continue to wave over the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Thank you, Mr. Fitzpatrick. As a unified school, we will now take some time to remember those who lost their lives on September 11th, 2001. Additionally, I would like to welcome Vista Murrieta High School's Wind Ensemble as they perform Amazing Grace, conducted by Mr. Wade. The people of the United States greatly relied on first responders and the United States military to protect our freedom. Our special guests will be escorted by some of our student leaders as they represent the branch of service, the flights, the towers, and the Pentagon. Each representative will be carrying a red rose to symbolize the hardiness and valor their fellow comrades had gone through. Our student leaders will carry a white rose to symbolize the remembrance our generation will carry on so that we will never forget September 11th, 2001. Representing the police department, we have Student Resource Officer Gabe Aponte, escorted by Band Representative Eiley Lopez. Hard work they did during the Tendahaw fire. However, we do have a representative from Plus to take his place. Plus Representative Kaya Hampton. Representing Flights 11 and 175, we have Staff Sergeant Brent Garvey from the United States Army, escorted by Link Crew member Elizabeth Goldberg. Representing Flight 77, we have Lieutenant Commander Jeff Sukoff from the United States Navy, escorted by ASB President Andrea Kaiser. Representing Flight 93, we have Chief Warrant Officer 3, Edwin Gonzalez from the United States Marine Corps, escorted by BBC Head of Publicity, Cassandra Moran. Representing the United States military, we have Staff Sergeant Ashley Jordan from the United States Air Force, escorted by Air Force JRDC Cadet Captain R.J. Cardenas. Representing the Towers and the Pentagon, we have Commander Scott Saunders from the United States Coast Guard, escorted by Speaker of Senate Kiana Garcia. may all be remembered and memorialized in our hearts. And now, we will have Ellie Montesino playing taps. Let us remember that this day was not a day of defeat, but rather a day that the American spirit prevailed. Our country has become much more resilient because of that day, 18 years ago. Thank you for your attendance this morning, and please go forth with pride in your heart. Thank you.